Hey there, Alex here. I am pretty sure that the Nexus series of Android devices has a special place in many Android fans' heart. For me, it was always about that pure Android experience directly from Google. But with the series going away, I thought it'd be fun to revisit the HTC Nexus One, the very first Nexus device. The Nexus One is just over 7 years old now, and yeah, it feels and looks pretty much like a phone from 7 years ago. The most telling sign, other than the very HTC looking design back then, is the tiny 3.7-inch WVGA display, which I'm sure looked stunning 7 years ago. An interesting thing about the display is that there are actually two versions. It launched with an AMOLED screen, but eventually switched to SLCD due to supply shortages. Sadly, the one I have is the LCD variant, which means it doesn't have that inky blacks I love from AMOLED screens. The phone launched with Android 2.1, which actually brought some useful features like voice search, speech-to-text on the keyboard, and turn-by-turn navigation. Well, and also some not-so-useful features like live wallpapers, 5 home screens instead of 3, a more 3D-looking gallery app, and more 3D-looking transitions. This is still early days for the Android ecosystem of course, so baby steps. The phone was eventually updated to Android 2.3.6, which is the version I'm running now, which mostly brings under-the-hood enhancements and slight UI changes. Of course, being an older version, some newer Android apps doesn't work anymore, but the ones that do are still mostly usable on the phone with a little bit of patience. The phone uses the Snapdragon S1 processor with a whopping 1GHz single-core CPU and 512MB of RAM, which was one of the best chipset available at that time. Another interesting little snippet is that the Nexus One is the only Nexus device that supports a micro SD card. Granted, it was kind of necessary since the internal storage is only 512MB, which is actually the hardest part about using the phone today. Out of the box, I pretty much have only 170MB or so for installing apps, and after updating Google Play services, only 50MB. Yeah, it's barely enough for any additional apps. The phone uses 4 capacitive buttons for navigation, back, menu, home, and search, which were pretty standard for Android phones back then. One thing I don't like about these buttons is that the touch targets are a little higher than where the icons actually say they are, which is kind of annoying when you're using it. Just below the buttons, you'll find a little trackball for navigating around the interface like some older BlackBerry devices. It's not something I use that frequently, but look at this. The trackball actually lights up when I get a new notification, which is kind of cool. The Nexus One is also one of the few Nexus devices with a removable battery as well. It's only 1400 mAh, which doesn't sound like much today, but was pretty much the norm back then. The phone has a 5MP camera with autofocus and LED flash, no front-facing camera here. In daylight, the images looks decent for its time, but really nothing to shout about. In low-light conditions, yeah, it's really not that great. Let's just compare it to what I can capture on the Google Pixel so you can see how far we've come in 7 years. Looking back at the Nexus One, it's really fun to see how far Android smartphones have come since then. For a really long time, the Nexus series have been the platform for Google to showcase their latest software, the latest and greatest that Android has to offer. Some were priced higher, some more affordable, but they always signified the progress of Android. Now that the Pixel brand is taking over the Nexus brand, I'm actually really excited to see what the next Pixel has to offer. If you haven't seen my review on the Google Pixel yet, you totally should. It's pretty much one of the best Android smartphones today, which makes me really excited to see what the next Pixel will bring and what Google's vision of Android will be in the future. And it all started with this, the Nexus One. Thanks for watching this video. If you like it, be sure to give me a thumbs up and share the video with your friends. If you want to see more content like this, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Thanks and see you guys on the next one.